Hello everyone, and welcome. It is day one, Rise of Shadows. We are here with a bunch of packs. We are really, I'm so excited for the expansion, everyone. It's been a while. I know people have been a bit damp. Their expectations have been a bit low from Hearthstone lately, but I think Rise of Shadows is a sick set. I'm excited to rip into these packs and hopefully crack some sweet legendaries. So let's do it. Let's jump in there. We got the Hexencraft pumping as well, giving us a good mood. Very good. Well, now I think I'll talk about the cards as we kind of go along. Just for the first part, we'll just bash through. So we are going to be seeing a lot of cards. Interesting. This Big Bad Archmage. I'm actually really interested to see if this actually does something. I've always been really hot on like Hogger effects. Vox only got 6 legendaries out of 140 packs. Yikes! I've always been really hot on those like end of turn summon a minion effects, particularly when that minion can be like a taunt or something like that. Another epic Witch's Brew. Will Witch's Brew be the healing spell that we need it to be? Be the healing rain that we need? Beazel's doing a lurk. Well, you better not lurk for too long, because I believe we're going to get that legendary in those first 10 packs, just like usual. Clockwork Goblin, part of the Bomb Warrior deck, which I definitely want to check out. Seems real sweet. Oh, there we go. Our first legendary is Tack Noswhisker, 7 mana, 6/6 rogue legendary. Whenever you shuffle a card back into your deck, add a copy to your hand. I think people have already, shown off quite a few awesome combos with this, particularly with Academic Espionage. It's quite good as you get copies of all those cards added to your hand. If we prep a gang up, or if we hit this guy with a lab recruiter, we get extra copies in our hand, potentially lets us reset the combo. I'm all about the tack. All about the tack, friends. First legendary down. And a good one to get. I'll go a little bit slower here. I know a lot of people won't be keen to see some of the new cards. Might not have been paying too much attention. It's all about tack and pogo. There you go. If you do gang up or lab recruiters a pogo, 3 more pogos into your hand. Tremendous. Underbelly use. After this minion survives damage on the copy. So this is the new. I think we talked about this in our card review. Kind of like the new patron. Is 7 mana, but it does survive a lot more. So a little bit of a different style. Sun Reaver Warmage, 5 mana 4/4. Holding a spell that costs 5 more, deal 4 damage. That's right, we talked about this being very similar to Blackwing Corruptor, which was a fantastic card back in the day. Similar stat line, similar cost. Deals a little bit more damage, probably a little bit easier to activate as well. In the right kind of deck. Another Underbelly Ooze. Really struggling with these clicks today. Convincing Infiltrator. This could be a big part of a lot of the Death Rattle decks. Maybe some new like Copy Priest. Man, we're really struggling with the clicks. Alright, two epics. We got Crystal Stag, which one of the most exciting cards. I think a lot of people talked about this as actually the card they were most excited for in the expansion. Bit of an interesting one to choose. But yes, Rush Battlecry. If you've restored 5 of my health this game, summon a copy of this. So if we've fulfilled that task, which we can do with sometimes just with single individual cards, then we get 8/8 worth of Rush for 5 mana, which is just a tremendous rate. We've also got Magic Carpet here, 3 mana 1/6. Stats I actually quite like. After you play a 1-cost minion, give it +1 attack and Rush, which is super interesting. I mean, we can combine this with Ardent Squire, we can combine this with Saronite, Taskmaster. There are a bunch of 1-drops you can combine this with that are quite good, and we've got the new Druid 1 drop, which we might see, the 2/1, that when it dies adds 2 1 mana 1/1s to our hand. Alright, we'll talk about the gold cards too. Aranasi Broodmother. When you draw this, restore 4 health to your hero. Pretty interesting, part of this kind of draw warlock archetype, where you use plot twist and other type effects to keep reshuffling things into your deck, keep redrawing, get more value when you draw them. Really, really cool. Arcane Fletcher, whenever you play a 1-cost minion, draw a spell from your deck. I think I talked about this as kind of an interesting card in like a face hunter, where we can convert our 1-drops into kill commands, into flanking strikes, baited strikes, into some like more consistent burn. But the body is just a bit weak. Got a gold here. 5 mana, 5/4 Divine Shield, Dalaran Crusader. Probably arena food, but we'll see. And Kirintor Tricaster. This card I'm very, very interested to see. 3 spell damage is a lot. I think people would be happy to pay 2 mana for a Arcane Missiles that deal 6 damage, but got to compare it to Cosmic Anomaly, and I think Cosmic Anomaly comes out ahead. I cracked a gold Omega Devastator. Art looks so cool. Damn, that big golden laser just bit of a death row. Call me Clicked McIntyre, because I can't click at all. Oh. Alright. Dimensional Ripper. 10 mana spell. Summon 2 copies of a minion in your deck. I mean, this is screams combo. Plenty of large warrior minions to summon, but we could also be using this with cards like Hakar, just big neutral death rattles. I'm sure we're going to see some Dimensional Ripper action. Also pairs quite well with that Archmage that was in the pack. Dreamway Guardians, exciting kind of potential token druid style card. Alright, Forest Aid, so part of the Treant Druid line. I think this card really excited me and kind of made me one of the first cards that made me excited for the set, because I really like the idea of these these types of effects that put a lot of power on the board. Make your opponent kind of have to respect that, even though they're just small minions. Unlike dropping a Tyrion into play, dropping an Archvillain or a farm or something like that. I can kind of respect the like, here's 5 dorks, deal with it, or Savage Raw's probably going to kill you. And if you do deal with it, got some more dorks for you. Really like this card. Tunnel Blaster. 7 mana, 3/7 Taunt, Death Rattle, deal 3 damage to all minions. I think we talked about this one. Kind of similar to Chillmore, except don't beat as hard, but a little bit less conditional. Could be a big part of like maybe some stalling, controlling decks if these token decks do get pretty big. Pulled Gromash with Ripper before, but I've also pulled Clockwork Owl. What? Clockwork Owl? What is Clockwork Owl? It's gonna take me a long time to learn all these card names. Another Dimensional Ripper, 9 lives. So this is a really cool card. Oh, with the Dimensional Ripper, right? Yeah, actually, that's true. Grom Hellscream works great with Dimensional Ripper. 9 lives. So discover a friendly Death Rattle minion that died this game. Also trigger its Death Rattle. So I talked about this with even cards like Cairn Bloodhoof, where you're not only going to get another Cairn in your hand, but you're going to summon a Bane for 3 mana, which is an awesome rate. You can also use it with those deal 3 damage to everything type effects with Savannah Highmane. I think 9 lives is pretty important. It'll be interesting to see if it can kind of become its own thing, maybe fit in with a Master's Call package. Ooh, Golden Forest Aid. I think we're going to be summoning some Golden Trents, friends. Another Dimensional Ripper. Alright game. Let's see what you're trying to say here. Okay, Hagatha's Scheme. Talked about this one a little bit. I really like the design. I think kind of a control card that rewards you a little bit more for just kind of playing a bit pillow 40, you know, just trading with your opponent, letting this power up, and then hitting them with a big, you know, cheap flame strike, and then possibly a follow-up. And eventually this card does just become Twisting Nether, so I do really like it. Unfortunately, terrible top deck, so yeah. Oh, Iron Beatdown, right. Yeah, I think the Dimensional Ripper is definitely a more combo card. Ten mana, 2 Iron Beatdowns is not great, yeah. We put this one before, Hunting Party. Copy your Beast in your hand. Could be an interesting combo style card. Nothing off the top of my head jumps out as being an awesome Hunting Party kind of card. Underbelly Fence, so this is a card that a lot of people are really hyped for, really excited for. In Wild, I think it's a bit better. But 2 mana, 2/3 Battlecry. If you're holding a card from another class, gain +1/+1 on Rush. Obviously, with a card like Pilfer, you can set that up to be active on turn 2. But obviously, in Wild, a bit better with the Burglar, the Pirate Burglar, Swashbuckler, as a nice card to curve off of, and of course summon Patches. So that's great. Vendetta. Deal 4 damage to a minion, cost 0 if you're holding a card from another class. Another part of this steel archetype, just like the Underbelly Fence. I mean, 0 mana removal is fantastic. That's why Backstab is so good. Helps enable combo cards as well, which can be very important. And yeah, 4 damage is quite a lot. You're going to kill a lot of things in the early game. Great tempo. I think we might try and see people maximize the power of Vendetta and other steely cards. Moogie, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. We are just cracking some packs, talking some cards. We got Forbidden Words here, part of a new Forbidden card. Spend all your mana to destroy a minion with that much attack or less. I think a lot of people talked about this as a fantastic card to combine with obviously Shadow Word Pain, Shadow Word Death, because Forbidden Words can hit all those 4 attack minions. Kills them pretty cheap. Opponent summons a Malagos for 9 mana. Get it out of here. Okay. On to the next pack. What are some legendaries people are hoping to crack in their own personal pack opening? Hecklebot, 4 mana, 3/8 taunt. Battlecry, your opponent summons a minion from the deck. So I think a lot of people kind of hoping that Hecklebot is the second coming of Dirty Rat. Kind of disable some combo decks, you know, ruin someone's day. Ooh, got a golden Underbelly Fence. It's a tasty one. And a golden Hench Clan Hag. I know a couple of Hench Clan Hags. Some of them might be in the chat right now. 4 mana, 3/3 Battlecry, summon 2 1/1 amalgams with all minion types. Obviously, this is sometimes relevant for Murlocs, I would say. This is pretty relevant, as it does summon some Murlocs. Not so relevant for like dragon decks and other things, which depend more on you having the dragons in your hand rather than on the board. But I think, yeah, Murlocs, possibly pirates, any type of any clan that has like a war leader or something like that, you know, a South Sea captain or a Murloc war leader. Hench Clan Hag, gonna fit right in there. I want to see Dadgar. Want to see Khadgar. I was super happy to get Kaligos. Yeah, you should be happy to get Kaligos. I think that's a really powerful mage card. Probably going to be a powerful mage card for quite a while, as long as they keep releasing good mage spells. AK, what is going on? Dadgar, please. Dadgar. Everyone wants to see Khadgar. Pretty excited for Khadgar as well. I like these cheaper legendaries. Okay, we got the Waggle pick. This was Ruby's pick for favorite card in the set. 4 mana, 4/2 weapon. Death Rattle, you get to Shadow Step something. It is random, but you can set it up. as we've seen with Necrium Blade in the past. Obviously this is fantastic with any battle cry effects. You know, we can even just use this with a novice engineer to just draw some extra cards. I really like it. Looking forward to people doing some pogo hopper shenanigans, people doing some tack shenanigans, anything like that. I'm all for. I'm really excited for the Coagle pick. New set, new me. New set, new Khadgar. I can't think of many legendaries that I'm super looking forward to, except for this one. This is Madame Lazul, a 3-mana 3/2. Battlecry, discover a copy of a card in your opponent's hand. So this is very good, gives you a bit of a scout. You know, your opponent, I think in most mid-range or aggressive matchups, your opponent usually only has about 3 cards in hand. So you're going to get the full scout of, you know what you need to play around, and you even get to take one of those cards, which in some matchups, like combo matchups, probably going to be pretty poor, but in mid-range matchups, this card is pretty important. Will let you fill your curve so you can keep curving out, you can take key cards that let your opponent get back into the game, and now you can kind of just trade back and forth with those kind of comeback cards. I love Madame Lazul. I think it's a great piece of design. They kind of nailed that priest kind of scouting effect that they wanted to have. You know, with Camelio, something that they've explored before. Another Curantor Tricaster here. Everyone thinks they're going to get murdered in the chat. Alright, Mass Resurrection. We talked about this card a little bit in our in our full set spoiler. You know, people complaining that the second coming of War Priest was upon it. I'm not too convinced. I think Priest losing Shadow Visions is a really big hit to any Priest deck's consistency. Conjurer's Calling. Another exciting card. An exciting card if we do open Khadgar, of course. 3 manas, kind of like a spell version of Cube. 3 mana, twin spell, destroy a minion, summon 2 minions of the same cost to replace it. Of course, twin spell means after we cast it, we get another copy of this card in our hand that does not have twin spell. So you get 2 shots at it. And yeah, I think there's going to be some interesting combo applications. Of course, you can combine it with Khadgar to summon 4 copies of something. Wonder what happens if you target Khadgar with it. I assume that it only summons 2 copies. Call to Adventure, another card we talked about. I love the artwork, possibly my favorite artwork of the set. Just love the feel. But yeah, probably. I mean, unless there's a combo deck out there that really specifically needs to hit, you know, a couple of minions, probably not going to be too useful. Portal Overfiend. So this is the epic version of Portal Keeper, both of which shuffle 3 portals into your deck. This is kind of the, I guess this is a good chance to talk about the new Warlocky archetype, the portal kind of deck. Do it with any faction, I guess, but I think in Warlock it's a bit more supported. Yeah, we shuffle 3 portals into our deck, and when we draw them, it summons a 2/2 demon with Rush. I think this is fantastic. I think this gives a bit more of a late game to a lot of those zoo decks. Does shuffle a bunch of portals into your deck that you can turn into legendary minions with Archvillain Reform. But I really like these. A little bit of extra value as you go on. A bit of high roll potential as well. We've all played those games with like Kaldorei Strider where the very next turn they just rip all 3 of them and you just get crushed by 16 power worth of spiders. Love those high roll cards. Golden, we got Hench Clan Burglar, 4 mana 4/3 Battlecry, discover a spell from another class. I like that this works when you are not, it works in Rogue Mirrors, because that's one of the least interesting games to watch is a Steel Rogue Mirror where no one can steal any cards. So I think this is really good, pretty decent rate as well, 4 mana 4/3, I mean I've played Spellbreaker more times than I can think. and gives you a spell. So we can look to discover potentially burn, some kind of reactive card. I think it's very, very good. Fragley. How's it going? Opened my packs earlier, pulled 10 legendaries, including Golden Togwaggle, and Blastmaster Boom. That is tight. Well done. Congratulations. What decks are you hoping to build with the legendaries that you got? Togwaggle scheme. So this is another card we can combine with the tack that we opened before. So kind of like a gang up that charges up more and more. People are talking about this being great in like a fatigue style game plan. But I think it's just more of a combo style card, or great with pogo hoppers, these types of things. I'm sure we'll see it used in many a fatigue deck. Unidentified contract, destroy minion, gains a bonus effect in your hand. I think this is one of the most variable unidentified cards. I think unidentified had a lot of consistency. I think this rogue one is more comparable to the warrior unidentified card, where, you know, the difference between gain 5 armor and equip a 5/2 weapon compared to gain 15 armor is like night and day. Already built a Silence Priest that works surprisingly well, Heal Druid, and Bomb Warrior. Honestly, the best part is that there's no meta, so there's no idea about what you could come up against. Yeah, I mean, this is... If you're a brewer, if you consider yourself a brewmaster, then now is your time to shine. Alright, the Sludge Slurper card, I think, is very, very important for those Murloc Shaman decks. 1 mana, 2/1. Battle Cry, add a Lackey to your hand, Overload 1. I think the main thing, reason I think it's so important is because the Lackeys are really good aggressive cards. There's a couple of great options there, including the one that gives Rush, the one that summons more things, especially for Shaman. If you're playing on bloodlusting your opponent to death, those Lackeys are real good. Exotic Mount Seller, 7 mana 5/8. Whenever you cast a spell, summon a random 3-cost beast. I think this is like very similar to Vex Crow, except Vex Crow is easier to deploy and also play some spells on that same turn. Whereas, do you really want to be waiting until turn 10 to play your Exotic Mount Seller and throw 3 1-cost spells at your opponent? A couple of goldens in here. Blessing of the Ancients, twin spell, give your minions +1/+1. We pointed this out as being one of the best cards for these token druids, that this card will probably define a lot of those decks if they are good. We've also got Plot Twist, another kind of defining card, which is interesting. But this time for the like Portal Warlock, the Draw Warlock type thing. You shuffle your hand into your deck, draw that many cards. I think the Portal cards are kind of okay on their own, but if you wanted to play a whole bunch of them, and the that card that we opened before, the one that heals you for 4 every time you draw it, Plot Twist is the way to enable that. Little hi hello, what up? We are cracking some packs, having some fun, talking some new sets. What deck / archetypes are you most looking forward to? Honestly, Treant Druid. I think we've been talking about that one for a fair bit. I think Treant Druid is something I'm very keen to try out. Ever since we played Wild with Poison Seed's Starfall, I realized that, like, oh wow, that's actually, if you can get a lot of card advantage, that's actually a totally reasonable like thing to do. Power of Creation. Discover a 6-cost minion. Summon 2 copies of it. I really like this mostly because the 6-cost minions are a sweet spot. It's where you get some really awesome neutrals. You get Argent Commander, Sunwalker, Can, plenty of really great 6 costs, and you get 2 of them. So the rate you get on this is extremely high. Obviously it costs 8, so for 10 mana you can combine it with Khadgar and just fill your board with 6 drops. Trent, yeah, that's what we're looking to do. Another Forest Seed. Seeing a lot of the same rares. But here's a new one. Inferno. 3 mana, give your demons +1 attack and deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. So this is a really cool spell for like a demon-based aggressive deck. Obviously tremendous in the mirror. You know, if you are having an aggro mirror or mid-range mirror, you might just end up wiping your opponent's board and also giving yourself half of a Savage Roar that sticks around. Whilst there aren't too many combo, not combo cards, like token Warlock cards right now, we got that new Refarm scheme, but outside of that, there's not too much going on. I think that's the real telling thing, is how good those token makers are. Because if they're good, then Inferno is going to be tremendous. I'd love an Archvillain Refarm. I think that's one of the legendaries that I'm really hoping to get, just because I think we usually end up playing a lot of Zoo decks. Zoo's very popular. And I just like having all the cards for the various different Zoo decks. I'm sure there will be Archvillainless Zoo decks, but I want to play the ones with the man himself. Pretty legend light this time around. Wrench Caliber. Epic here, a 4 mana 3/2 weapon. Nice. I like that. I like my 3 attack weapons. After your hero attacks, shuffle a bomb into your opponent's deck. We also got the Clockwork Goblin here. 2 of these Bomb Warrior style cards, which focuses on shuffling a bunch of bombs into your opponent's deck and possibly getting advantage out of that. But mostly, I think you just want to shuffle 6 bombs into your deck and hope your opponent doesn't heal or gain armor at all. And watch them die. I think that's real cool. We've definitely tried to play some C4M Bomber decks before. Now we can do it. Significantly easier. Here's the what we were talking about. We were talking about those token Zoo style cards with Refarm scheme. It's a 3 mana spell. Summon 1/1/1 imp, upgrades each turn, so obviously we want to charge this thing up to, you know, at least 3 mana, get 3/3 worth of stats is fine. But you know, if this ever does charge up to, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7, you're getting quite a lot of value for a 3 mana card. Not a lot of high impact, but that's where I think your synergistic cards can go. Priest is dead for me. What do you mean? You don't think it's good anymore? You didn't get any priest spells? The imp doesn't charge up, just summons more 1/1s. Yeah, so obviously summons more boys, which gets better with your Infernos and things like that. Archvillain Refarm? There we go. All it takes is putting a little bit of positivity out there. A little bit of that wish. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow, 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 wow. Refarm! Yes, Beazel. Yeah, Refarm is in the house, and so is reality. Yeah, we got it. Thank you so much for the sub, Beazel. Enjoy the emotes. Enjoy the sub badge. Enjoy checking things out. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I always say to everyone, if you've always thought of, you know, chucking me a couple of bucks or anything, anyone on YouTube or anything, best thing you can do is you know, throw me a sub, or if you've already got one, gift someone a sub, because you know, spread the love, pay it forward, let someone else get some enjoyment out of the content. Now, who said before that we opened they opened a Golden Omega Devastator? Look at this thing. So this, a lot of people do know this, but might have missed it. But Omega Defender. This was the original art for Omega Defender, but they cut it and got that different one with the goblin in the mech. So now this is the Omega Devastator, and I love this golden. Look at this thing, just oh. Let me see those Tommy Death Rays in the chat for the Omega Devastator. Alright, we got another Magic Carpet. That makes the second one, which is good, because I think I think I really like Magic Carpet. I wonder how Magic Carpet interacts with those imp summoning cards. Is it whenever you play or whenever you summon? We'll have to check on the next one. Alright, we got a bunch of stuff here. We've got Mysterious Blade, 2 mana, 2/2, weapon, Battle Cry. If you control a secret, gain +1 attack. So, this is pretty interesting. I mean, I don't know how good these Secret Paladin decks get. I think one of the things we've kind of seen with Secret Paladin is the harder you commit to secrets, especially in the modern era, post Mysterious Challenger, the more you commit to the secret package, the more low impact cards you have in your deck. So I think the best Secret Paladin decks only have that really light commitment and only play kind of the most high impact cards. Now, Mysterious Blade is a pretty high impact card. I mean, a 2 mana 3/2 weapon, Fiery War Axe is good enough to be nerfed. You know, you can also just play a secret and then play this as a 3 mana play. So I think Mysterious Blade might have a place in this meta, but it is competing with, Blood Claw is competing with Trucible Champion, as always. So let's see. Kirin Tricaster we talked about these other cards too. Another Omega Devastator. Well, we've got our 2. I think the Devastator is fantastic, especially with Omega Assembly. I think those cards kind of synergize quite well together. You're always going to feel good to play an Omega Assembly. A golden legendary Varisa Windrunner, the Forgotten Sister. 7 mana, 5/6 Hunter, legendary. Equip Thoridal Stars Fury. Thoridal says, I believe, after you attack, you have +2 spell damage for the rest of the turn, which combines pretty well with just general burn cards. Combines well with Baited Arrow because it gives you a weapon. It lets you set it up as well. Now, does that a Hunter deck make? Unsure. We have lost a lot of the Spell Hunter support, and more importantly, we've lost Rexar, which was one of the big ways for a Spell Hunter to also be competing on the board. I'm not too sure about Varisa, but we've got a golden one, so we've got to check it out. The black sheep of the family. How many Windrunners are there? Chucked with that. Chucked with that. I'm not sure if I got my my login legendary for those bundles. Gonna have to check that. Darkest Hour. 6 mana Warlock spell. Destroy all friendly minions. For each one, summon a random minion from your deck. So this, once again, we were talking about all of these token Warlock cards. And turning a lot of these kind of smaller minions into bigger minions. We can kind of cheese it out if we have spells that summon minions. We can use those early on, so we can pack our deck full of expensive big boom booms. We can Darkest Hour them all into play. Unfortunately, you can't really play Archvillain Reform and then also have a Darkest Hour to shred your board and summon a bunch of legendaries, but it could be cool. I had to log in twice to get them. Well, that's what we'll do after this. We'll once we crack these packs, we'll log out, log in, see if we can get them. Or should we do that now? I guess it can't, as long as it doesn't give us duplicate legendaries. Huh. But maybe it will. Just in case, gonna do a quick log out. Alright, we've logged out and logged back in. Here's our legendary card. The Swamp Queen, Hagatha, so golden legendary. Oof, this is a spicy one. This is a spicy one to get in golden. I can't wait to see those golden horrors casting their golden spells. It's pretty good. I think Swamp Queen Hagatha is really awesome. I think, especially with Shutterwalk still floating around. that we may see a bit more of a value-oriented control shaman. Also got Fell Lord Betrud. Very happy I didn't get this one in gold. I think this is interesting, kind of part of that draw warlock thing. Maybe I should put a deck up called Draw Lock. I want to coin that term. But yeah, also incentivizes us to have a lot more boom booms. I think this is a great legendary to get off of Arch-Villain Reform. But yeah, a bit lackluster. Alright, back into the breach, cracking these packs. Jimbo De Niro, what's going on? We are cracking some packs. We have a different card back now because I recently switched over to random card back. I have no idea what these ones are. And all the cuties are in the chat. Alright, another Sludge Slurper. Azurite Elemental here. Start of your turn, gain spell damage +2. Interesting stats. 5 mana is a lot to pay for this type of effect. However, given that you're likely not going to be pairing it with a spell that turn, I think it's kind of interesting. It'll be cool to see how well mage decks compete on board. I think that's the most important thing there. If we see mage decks able to kind of stay on board and keep the board clear up until that kind of turn 5-ish turn, there is some potential to drop this and then have your opponent not kill it and then just go ape next turn. Whereas a lot of the other, those Tricasters and those cosmic anomalies don't have 7 toughness, so they're a bit easier to take care of. Duel, epic paladin spell, 5 mana. Summon a minion from each player's deck. They fight. I mean, already there's a lot of applications here with Hakar. With those types of effects, you can rip out your Hakar. Hopefully it trades with your opponent's minion. If not, you have a Hakar in play. Yeah, I think Jewel is probably going to be part of a couple of interesting decks. Also does quite well with like hand paladin stuff. You can start ripping giants out of your deck. It's not too bad. Golden Raya for us. I think this is going to be a pretty key mage card in a lot of decks. Mostly because of that twin spell stuff. Get all of your spell casting triggers off multiple times. 1 mana, freeze a minion. It's already frozen. Deal 2 damage to it, so you can just combine it with itself to, of course, deal 2 damage to a minion for 2 mana, which is a rate that people have been happy to pay in the past. Actually, I'm not sure if we've got a Spellward Jeweler before. It's a 3 mana 3/4 with a little bit of upside. Battle Cry. Your hero can't be targeted by spells or hero powers until your next turn. So, yeah, just a little bit of upside here. If there's, I think that this is a great card for the specialist format. That there are probably going to be decks out there where getting a turn of hexproof, as it were, is really useful. Desperate Measures, I think we've actually cracked a couple of these. We might not have talked about it, but I'm really excited for this card. It's a 1 mana spell with Twin Spell. Cast a random Paladin Secret, and I think that is, I mean, many people have talked about this before, but that is the true nature of secrets. You want it to be that when your opponent plays a secret, it is really a secret, as opposed to, when you see that you're up against a Tempo Mage, and you're like, well, it's either Counterspell or Explosive Runes. And rarely is it, it might be Mirror Image or Splitting Image or something like that. It's basically, it's very obvious what it could be. Whereas Desperate Measures, you're going to be putting Eye for an Eyes into play. You're going to be putting, Auto Defense Matrix, weird stuff that your opponent might not play around, or it might freak them out too much. And it's got Twin Spell, so it's actually a little, like, I don't know, that gives it a little bit more impact, I feel. I think a lot of these secret Paladin decks, I think, should lean heavily on that card. Sweeping Strikes, 2 mana, give a minion cleave, essentially. Which is interesting, there's a lot of effects you can combine that with, like Poisonous, to get big board clears. Combine it with, just in general, like Divine Shield, stuff like that. I think it's interesting, probably not going to be the impact of those types of cards is really very high. As it does is a card that relies on not only your opponent having minions in play, but having multiple minions. And there are decks out there that just don't really play many minions, so can be very dead in a lot of matchups, and usually cards that are dead in some matchups don't see a lot of play. Ooh, Golden Hagatha's scheme to go with our Golden Hagatha. Very nice. Got a Life Weaver here too. 3 mana 2/5. I like those stats. Whenever you restore health, add a random Druid spell to your hand. It's actually really interesting. The one problem that I have with a lot of these Healy Druid cards that I need to find out is some cards trigger when you heal, even if you heal for 0, and other cards trigger when you actually have to heal some amount of health, right? So like Life Warden, I think only triggers when health is actually restored, whereas there are some Priest cards that will actually, you can heal yourself for 0 and it will just trigger. So I need to know what Life Weaver does, because I think that very much affects its playability, because it's quite difficult to damage yourself in Druid, especially if you're playing against a control deck. You're not going to have a lot of targets to bash yourself into. But I think with cards like Honorary Tortoise and Crystallizer, you might actually be able to get those Restore 5 health cards off pretty consistently. I really like that. I like that we all saw a lot of those cards and we're like, oh, clearly that's you know, that's the Paladin thing. But actually it's turning out to be a different thing this set. And maybe next set will be a different thing again. There'll be another Damage Me archetype. Mad Summoner. This is a card that chat was talking about before. 6 mana 4/4. Fill each player's board with 1/1 imps. Of course you can combine this with the Inferno. I'm just going to want to say Implosion all the time. For 9 mana, I guess you kill your opponent, all your opponent's 1/1s, and you get a board of 2/1s and a 5/4, which is a lot to pay, but I'm sure people will try it. I think it might pair better with the one that just summons a couple for each side of the board, or effects like that. I think there's a guy that summons a couple of things. Alright, Unseen Saboteur. So we were talking about the weird robot that people hope to be the second coming of Dirty Rat. This is kind of on that same level. 6 mana 5/6 battle cry. Your opponent casts a random spell from their hand, so you could potentially, you know, make them summon a scheme that isn't fully powered yet. You could, you know, make them use a targeted damage or removal spell when they have a full board. I think there are a lot of spells in Hearthstone that require very specific timing, and making your opponent miss that timing could be potentially catastrophic for them. Recurring Villain. 5 mana 3/6 Death Rattle. If this minion has 4 or more attack, resummon it. Obviously we can pair this with many of the Druid cards, give plus attack, but not too sure if getting a body that keeps coming back into play, that's a body like that, is very good. It's a body that is quite hard to trade up. But if you know, a Druid deck does need some kind of late game power or some kind of ability to grind out games, maybe people will look in that direction. It's our second 9 lives, which is good. Imagine we're going to be getting quite a lot of use out of that. What's the next legendary that we want? I guess it's Dr. Boom, right? We've got most of the rest of the evil. In fact, that's the only one we're missing, right? We got Hagatha, Rafam, Lazul, and Hagatha, Rafam, Lazul. Oh, we haven't got Heist Baron yet, so we need Togwagon too. Also, kind of interested in getting Nozari. Magic Trick. So we talked about this for a fair bit as well. One of the kind of overarching themes that I want people to remember with this new set is because because we have the fewest number of sets in standard at the same time, it means the total pool of cards is quite low. So anytime you have an effect like Magic Trick, which says discover a spell that costs 3 or less, the actual total pool of mage spells that cost 3 or less is incredibly small. So if you wanted to use, if you say, whenever I Mage Trick, I always want to hit Frostbolt, Counterspell, like maybe 5 really high impact cards, you can actually do the math and actually figure out just how likely it is that you'll hit one of those cards. I think you'll be surprised at just how high a chance you have to see those spells. Now the Epic, the Witch's Brew. It's our second copy. Ooh, Underbelly Angler. So more Shaman Murloc stuff. 2 mana, 2/3. After you play a Murloc, add a random Murloc to your hand. I think we pointed this out as being one of the more important Murloc cards for the set. Not only does it give you a way to restock, but it can potentially just go off its head. If it's unanswered, you can just chain more Murlocs into Murlocs, which is much more efficient than Primal Fin, the Primal Fin Discover guy was. I really like this card, especially without the 6 mana Murloc in the format, the one that dealt 2 damage to all non-Murlocs. I think you're more likely to hit cheaper Murlocs that you can just keep chaining and chaining and chaining. You can play 2 of them as well. Love it. Really love it. 206 out of 247 Rise of Shadows. Do I bother dropping 8,000 gold into packs? Tough decisions. I think if you're going to drop 8,000 gold into packs, now's the time to do it, because this set is going to be legal for the longest amount of time, and you'll kind of get more enjoyment over time for your gold, if that makes sense. Oblivitron, another legendary. It's a Hunter legendary. 6 mana, 3/4. Mech. Death Rattle. Summon a mech from your hand and trigger its Death Rattle. So people talked about Oblivitron with like 9 lives that we can, you know, we'll discover an Oblivitron into our hand, and then it will trigger its Death Rattle, which will then summon an Oblivitron from our hand, which will then trigger the Oblivitron's Death Rattle. So if we've got another mech or whatever, we'll get that out. I think it's interesting. I think the only issue is that it's a legendary, which means that if you're trying to kind of pull this specific combo off, you might be struggling to find it. You might have to play some interesting cards in order to kind of sculpt that combo. Pretty low consistency. Now's where we're getting into the speedrun portion of this pack opening. Have we seen any neutral legendaries yet? Shadowy Figure. 2 mana, 2/2. Battlecry. Transform into a 2/2 copy of a friendly Death Rattle minion. I think that 2 mana is pretty reasonable rate. Usually not too difficult to pull off. You know, for 5 mana you can combine this with a 3 mana Death Rattle, which there's plenty of out there, that have, you know, low to high impact as far as the actual Death Rattle goes. I think it's going to be incredible if we pair it with, you know, Resurrect effects, because I believe that the Shadowy Figure, if it becomes I don't know, what's a Death Rattle? A can. Then when it gets resurrected, it'll get resurrected as a full can. Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting part of the meta, but maybe a bit too win more. I don't know if we've talked about that Ego Unbelievable. I think it's my least favorite, one of my least favorite cards from the set. Arcane Watcher, 3 mana, 5/6, huge stats. Can't attack unless you have spell damage, so this is interesting for both mage decks, like our tempo mage decks that want to play a lot of spell power minions, but also interesting for silence priest decks. Ooh, and there he is, Blastmaster Boom. 7 mana 7/7. Battle Cry, summon 2/1/1 Boombots for each bomb in your opponent's deck. So I think one of the key things with this is that with all of the new Bomb Warrior stuff, putting bombs in your opponent's deck, not too hard. In fact, there's a lot of a reasonable minion that does so, reasonably statted one. There's a reasonable weapon to play as well that can also shuffle that in. And realistically, you only need 1 or 2 bombs in their deck for you to get incredible value out of Blastmaster Boom. I mean, 1 bomb and it's already Dr. Boom, and Dr. Boom was, you know, Dr. 7 was one of the best legendaries around. Might be a bit outclassed in today's meta, but I still think that it's a good upside and a good, just a good one-off to play in those kind of bomb style decks. Very keen. All right. Bunch of stuff here. Gold Mass Resurrection. Now is where I gotta switch my tone and be like, well, Wall Priest better be a thing so we can get some use out of this. Dreamway Guardians we talked about very briefly. So summons 2/1/2 Dryades with Lifesteal. Of course, this combines very well with the token side of things because it summons multiple minions. It also combines very well with the healing side of Druid. You know, you can curve this into the 3 mana minion we were talking about before that adds Druid spells to our hand. And if you've taken damage, you know, you can drop this, baff, 2 Druid spells, rolling in value. Okay, another Arcane Watcher. Of course, if you are interested in all of these commons that we're kind of skipping over, we did do a full set review. I'd recommend checking that out on YouTube. Spellbook Binder. 2 mana 3/2. Battle Cry, if you have spell damage, draw a card. I think this is great. Not only is it a good stats, so 2 mana 3/2 is awesome. I think this will be great in Tempo Mage, where, you know, you kind of do want to play some spell damage effects, and, you know, the card draw could be the difference between, you know, drawing that fireball and killing your opponent, or them killing you before you see the fireball. So I do really like this card in Tempo Mage. However, I think that deck also has a lot of really good 2 and 3 drops, and it probably needs more good 1 drops than anything else. Just pour one out for the mana worms out there. Hopefully we can hit 2 more legendaries out of these next 70 packs. In fact, in chat, let me know, what do you think the next legendary we're going to open is? I personally hope that it's Hearthstone. But I think we're going to crack a neutral sometime soon. Maybe a Nomi? Let me know, chat, what do you want to see? Also, what nice card are we going to open from this pack? Nomi. Lifeweaver. Nice. Yeah, maybe Lifeweaver. We might have underrated that card. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I do kind of like the idea of that kind of Lifeweaver healy, self-healy thing. If we open a Lucent Bark, we'll if we open a Lucent Bark, we'll try and make it. Walking Fountain, 8 mana 4/8. This is a card which was quite important, I think, because we talk a lot about budget decks and how budget control decks often end up being just really unfortunate because they can't kill the opponent. There aren't many good finishers at common. I think Walking Fountain might be the first exception to that. I think it not only is a reasonable finisher, kills your opponent pretty quickly, especially when combined with Rock Biter Weapon or other such buffs, but it also can help you stabilize. You know, if your opponent's beating you down, all of a sudden this comes in, kills two of your opponent's minions, gains you 8 life. Fantastic. So we might actually look to do a bit of a budget series with the definitely something that highlights the Walking Fountain. Magic Dark Frog, another card that has people very excited about Tempo Mage. And like I was saying before, there are a lot of great 2-drops for Mage. I think this Lee is very good, very similar to Flame Waker, 2 mana 1/3. After you cast a spell, do 1 damage to a random enemy minion. Main difference with Flame Waker, of course, it only does 1 damage, but also Magic Dart Frog can only hit minions. Some will say that this is a bad thing because you can't combo out and, you know, murder your opponent with triggers. But I think it's actually a bit better because a lot of these Tempo Mage decks, you know, really want to control the board so that they can get more minion damage in. That's one of the kind of prime tenets of these Tempo Mage decks is get as much minion damage as possible, then transition to burning your opponent's face out. And I think the Dart Frog will help you stay on board a bit longer. And I really like that. We've got a gold one. Legendary. Oh, sorry, anyone in the chat? I'm guessing no one guessed this card because no one remembers this card. It's Katrina Muerte. 8 mana, 6/8. I'm sorry if I butchered that, I probably did. At the end of your turn, summon a friendly minion that died this game. This is great with any, you know, cheaty big priest effects. Fantastic with the, you know, the taunts that we've talked about before that, you know, deal 3 damage to everyone else or that kill opposing minions. If you keep bringing taunts back, your opponent has to keep bashing through them. It really means they have to have removal for Katrina, or else, like hard removal, or else they're going to be in a pit of despair. And with all these resurrect effects around, I mean, getting back a Katrina, getting that extra trigger, I mean, if there's a control priest out there, I mean, or a big priest or something like that, Katrina could totally be a huge part of it. A big part, big priest. Big. Alright, well, I'll be happy with one more legendary in the next 60 packs, which is guaranteed. So what do we want to see? People still want to see Nomi, people still want to see something else. We've got both the priest legendaries now. Another Hench Clan Hag, so that's our second one. Scargill, yeah, actually. I think I want the Scargill too. You've convinced me. Messenger Raven, 3 mana, 3/2. Battlecry, discover a mage minion. So specifically a mage minion, of which, once again, we talked about discover effects. There's going to be very few. So if you think about it, you know, you're actually pretty likely to hit large, big boom booms like Antonidas, like Caligos, all these things. Mage minions, unfortunately, are usually a bit shit, as they say. Especially with a lot of these kind of low-end mage minions coming out. But I still think it's very good. I think a 3/2 is not the worst stats for this type of effect. I mean, we've seen people play, you know, 2 mana 2/2s and things. So, yeah, I think it could be okay. Ooh, a golden Lifeweaver. Gonna get some golden spells. Nice. I just opened Blastmaster Boom myself, Jimbo. Been playing some Bomb Warrior, I think. Hopefully you open some Wrench Calibers. Another Omega Devastator. Really wants us to devastate some idiots, hey? Magic Carpet. I think that's our second Magic Carpet. I feel like Magic Carpet might be the new Witch's Cauldron for us. Where we just want to jam one in every single aggro there. Oh, we forgot to check if it is play or summon. Hey! Who guessed Scargill? Basil! Oh, my man. Coming through with the, sending through the astral vibes. Telling Blizzard exactly what we wanted. This is Scargill, 4 mana 4/4. Your Murlocs cost 1. Which is great. I mean, look, to be honest, you're probably not going to be discounting many of them a lot, but it does just let you go off with the Murloc we were talking about before, the 2 mana 2/3 that every time you play a Murloc, get a random Murloc. Having this in play means that if you've got 5 mana, you have Skargul and that out, you are going to play 5 Murlocs this turn. Unless they summon more Murlocs. But if you're playing a bunch of Murlocs, you're going to have a bunch more gas in your hand. And it's on your opponent to do something about it. Love it. Love the Skargul. Skargulicious. Jimbo, I definitely agree. Just opened High Sparrow and Togwaggle as well. Jeez. He's doing well. Golden Portal Keeper. Some golden portals. Unleash the Beast. This is the first one of these we've opened, I think. 6 mana twin spell. Summon a 5/5 Wyvern with Rush. Wyvern with Rush. Great. I think this card's really good. I think having that immediate impact on board is fantastic. You know, we've seen that Zilliax and these types of effects are amazing. I think 6 mana might also be a sweet spot where 7 mana, you know, it's not like everyone plays Armani Warbear. But I think 6 mana might be a good spot for this type of effect. And of course, Twin Spell means that you can just follow up with another one. Could be pretty good for like a mid-rangey hunter style deck where you tend to not have too many resources. At least in those kind of late couple of turns, and just getting to do this twice, do that twice means a lot. All right. So we was that the 49th pack? Or was that? Are we gonna get another legendary? Mana Cyclone, 2 mana 2/2. Battle Cry. For each spell you've cast this turn, add a random mage spell to your hand. I think we talked about this as being maybe a bit hard to set up, that it's not really proactive. You kind of have to have a good turn and then you kind of capitalize on it, but these types of cards tend to not be super good, you know, unless they are named like Van Cleef or other, you know, questing adventurer, these types of more miracle style cards. Golden Sludge Slurper, fantastic, love it. Hopefully I'll be seeing the residuals. Blizzard of course using my rights to name that card, as that was my high school nickname, the Sludge Slurper. Golden, ooh, a couple of goldens here. Golden Desperate Measures, very good. Put some Golden Eye for an Eyes in play. But Crystal Power here, a card we should probably talk about because it's one of the more important commons in the set, I think. 1 mana, choose one. Deal 2 damage to a minion, or restore 5 health. So deal 2 damage for 1 mana, of course, is fantastic. We've seen this many times before. Just a good rate, good spell to play if you think that there's going to be aggressive decks in the format. Also restore 5 health, of course this triggers a lot of the healy-dealy druid effects. 5 health as well is a key number, and this also combines well with one of the new druid actually both the new druid legendaries, as one does synergize with druid spells. But definitely a card that we're going to be seeing for quite a long time, just because 1 mana 2 damage spells tend to not go unplayed. Just got Archivist Elysiana. Yeah, you are on a roll. Heck yeah. That's definitely a card we'd like to see as well, the Archivist. Uncommon. Hench Clan Shadequill. 4 mana 4/7. Death Rattle, restore 5 health to the enemy hero. We've seen this type of effect before with the Corrupted Healbot, although that one had a little bit better stats. Of course, a prime target for these Silence Priest type effects is Death Rattle, so could also do some weird stuff there. And you can combine these effects with the Priest healing inversion style of effects, which is good because I think there's 2 of those in standard right now. We have the Orchenai Soul Priest and the new 2 mana Orchenai card. Another ranged caliber, so we are all bombed up and ready to blast. Ooh, there we go. So there's one of the legendaries we were talking about before. It works great with the Crystal Power. So Lucent Bark, also possibly one of my favorite artworks of the set. is a 8 mana 4/8 taunt. Death Rattle, go dormant, restore 5 health to awaken this minion. I imagine this card is going to be an absolute nightmare for aggressive decks. Not only is it just a big, huge taunto that demands a silence, but if you kill it, you probably have to trade a bunch of minions into it. Then your opponent, they restore 5 health, and they get a 4/8 taunt, and they probably do that for not a lot of mana, like 1 mana, get a 4/8 taunt, restore 5 health. That's really not the position that aggressive decks want to be in. I like these dormant cards that allow you to get a little bit more value. I really like it. Speaking of cards that I really like, Acorn Bearer. We talked about this one before. It's a 1 mana 2/1. Death Rattle, add 2 1/1 squirrels to your hand. Obviously a great aggressive card, great token card. Adds a lot of granularity, which we talk about a fair bit. I think it's super important. Aranasi Broodmother. Is that our second golden one? I guess it is. Very good. On a roll. Face frustration, yes. Well, for all of you out there who are looking to get Daddy Khadgar, old Dadgar, boy have I got an exciting occurrence for you. A golden Khadgar. Does that mean we get golden extra minions? Or does it just summon regular copies of them? Yes, that's right, chat. Chat is extremely thirsty right now. Let's just, do you want some water? Can we get chat some water, please? Make sure that you're lying down with your neck supported. Okay. Dad Supreme. Can you do it? Can you do that again? The freak out? I don't know. Someone clip it. We are blessed. Yes, we're truly blessed today. Hashtag CADblessed. Blessed Gar. Khadgar is... Let's talk about the card a little bit, other than the very good looks. Khadgar is 2/2 legendary minion. Your cards that summon minions summon twice as many. So I imagine that Khadgar is often going to be a lot like Archmage Aragorn, a card that you kind of combine with something in one turn. So best example would be a card like the Summons spell that summons 2 for 4 mana, get 2 cost minions. It's affected by spell damage. You want to wait until turn 6, drop the Khadgar, play that, now you get 4 minions, kind of increase the power level of that spell. And if your opponent doesn't answer the Khadgar, or maybe they can't because you summoned a bunch of taunts or whatever, then you can maybe hit them with another spell. You only get 1 Khadgar though. You only Khadgar once, which is a bit of a disadvantage, so I would think that in order for Khadgar to see play, those summon decks have to be good on their own. Keep moving on. Another Omega Devastator. Really wants us to devastate. 2 golden legendaries out of the packs that we're opening though. That's pretty good. Plus the Swamp Queen Hagatha. Pretty happy with that. Golden Conjurer's Calling to go with our Golden Khadgar. Very good. This is a card we haven't seen yet. Batterhead. 8 mana 3/12. So already, with Rush, of course. So already brings up, you know, Inner Fire, shenaniganry. Also says, after this attacks and kills a minion, it may attack again. So it could be potentially a big board clear as well. We can resurrect it and then hit it with a Inner Fire for 12. Great card. I mean, unfortunately, I just think that there's a lot of like Moshog Enforcer, this guy. There's a lot of kind of replaceable, high toughness but reasonable impact minions. So we'll have to wait and see who wins the day. Probably not too much as far as rares and definitely rares that we haven't opened yet. Epics always seem to be a bit of an issue. Speaking of, Dragon Speaker. 5 mana 3/5 Paladin minion. Battlecry, give all dragons in your hand +3/+3. There are a couple of tokeny dragon cards that we can get into our hand. Unfortunately, we don't have... I believe we lose Nightmare Amalgam. I believe that was... Or was Nightmare Amalgam... Oh, hold on. Quick Google. Was Nightmare Amalgam in Kobolds and Catacombs? Or was it in Witchwood? It was in Witchwood, so we still have Nightmare Amalgam, which is very good because otherwise there's not a lot of low-cost dragons. So we have some effects that add dragons to our hand in this set. I think it could be okay. That body is a little bit concerning. Also, the fact that not a lot of those dragons have an immediate impact on board is also a bit concerning. Shimmerfly. This is the first Shimmerfly we've opened. 1 mana 1/1, Death Rattle, add a random hunter spell to your hand. I think this is a great 1-drop hunter card if we're playing face hunter, aggro hunter. Whilst hunter spells can be bad. I think that the 1-drop 1/1 beast to make sure we can follow up with the Headhunter's Hatchet is really important. This is the card we were talking about before when we were talking about cards that add dragons to our hand. Bronze Herald, 3 mana 3/2, add 2 4/4 dragons to your hand. Would love to not have to craft a second. Would love to not have to craft any rares, to be honest. Always kind of feels bad having to craft a card that you think you should have opened. Another Crystal Stag, Golden Clockwork Goblin. So we can shuffle some Golden Bombs into our opponent's deck. Hopefully they explode for more than 5 damage. Another Unidentified Contract. If you're someone who doesn't have a huge collection of cards and you want to make some new budget decks, what packs should I be buying at the moment? It's a hard question to answer. I think that classic packs have the biggest longevity, right? Because they're always going to be legal, they're always going to be around. And to be honest, a lot of decks are actually made up of quite a lot of classic cards. So I would say that if you're the type of person who budgeting is a pretty big part of the way that you play the game, I would say maybe look towards cracking your 10 packs of try and get 10 packs of this set just to get you that guaranteed legendary. Obviously, in case you didn't know, the first 10 packs of any set you open will have a legendary in it. But then probably look more towards classic packs, making sure you have, all the commons and rares from classic that you would want to play. And then look towards, delving into expansions. I think this is a great expansion to start with, because it's going to be legal for 2 years. So if you've got, if you think your classic collection is pretty complete, in particular you have those commons, those rares, maybe you've got a couple of key epics that you've crafted. I wouldn't so much say aim for the legendaries, but if you've got those, then I think that this set is a great choice. And yeah, just make sure that you've cracked those 10 packs of all those sets, just so you get those legendaries. Whirlwind Tempest, we haven't opened this, but we got a golden one. 8 mana, 6/6. Your minions with Wind Fury have Mega Wind Fury. I think that this is a Mega Windmore card, and that a lot of minions with Wind Fury kind of suck. I'm not really in I don't think including a bunch of not great minions in your deck is a great idea. Helpful answer? No worries. And of course that goes the same. Second golden refrain. It goes the same for all of you people on YouTube as well. That's something that you have to contemplate every time a new set comes out. There you go. Alright, the last 10 packs. Are we going to get a legendary? And what are we going to get? I want to see some numbers in the chat. So this is the 9th pack. Let me see some numbers as to where, if you think we're going to get a legendary, where's it going to be? Bonus points if you guess which legendary it is too. I think we're pretty likely to. With that last legendary we opened was Khadgar. That was over, it was like 30 packs ago. I think we're due another one. Alright, gonna go in. Pack number 9. Golden recurring villain. Excellent. Alright, number 8. No dice on number 8. Number 7. Ooh, number 7. Commander Risa. Secret Paladin card. Oh, we got the other Shimmerfly as well. Cool Secret Paladin card. 3 mana, 4/3. Great stats. Your secrets trigger twice. There are, I mean, most Paladin secrets triggering twice can be quite good. And if you do maximize the value out of those, they could be even better. You know, things like making sure that your opponent's attacking in at the right time when you've got get down, making sure that they're killing the right minion if you've got redemption, making sure that they're hitting you hard if you've got eye for an eye out. I like this, just slots straight into that deck, you know, kind of can come down after you've played your Village Bell Ringers and things like that. It's great. Alright, let's dig into this this pity timer for our next lot of packs. Overall, pretty happy with what we did open. Only a couple. We didn't open too many neutrals. We didn't get any nommies, anything like that. Which is unfortunate, but a lot of good ones. So I'm happy. We always seem to have pretty good pack openings, whilst it started a bit slow. I think we only got the 2 legendaries in like the first 60 packs or something. We ended well, ended strong. There we go. So that's it for the pack opening. I'm sure I'll be opening a bunch more packs as we go along. But it's time to get brewing, time to get playing some decks. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, stay safe, stay wavy, eat the rich, crack some packs. Bye. I hope you enjoyed that video. Check out other ones over here, or come subscribe to the Wave Pool for more excellent times.